Okay. I think it should be pulling the Skype.
I see it.
Okay, cool. Hopefully your audio sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great.
Do you hear the music, by the way, Samit?
I don't.
Okay. I'm playing a little bit of music. Hopefully they can hear you on the live stream.
Yeah.
If not, we'll be told if you can't be heard.
No worries.
Here we go. So today I'm with Samit, and we're going to be doing. I'm actually on his podcast that he does called the Sage Circle, the Knowledge Roundtable. Correct?
That's correct, man. So yeah, we call it the Sage Circle. My name is Samit Harish. Welcome everybody. Basically, the Sage Circle, it kind of started like as a mini project. Kind of, you know how we have our mini projects on the side that we want to kind of do, dabble in. So podcasting was a mini project that I just felt like, I'd love to kind of go out there and see what, interesting things people are up to, they're doing in this digital automated world that we're living in. It just kind of gets crazier by the month out there with what you can do online, and just kind of see what, cool people are doing out there, and hear their story, hear their struggle, and see if our viewers out there can get anything out of it, and see how we can kind of lead them along the way in life and help them out. So this is just kind of my way of kind of giving back to society, is this podcasting stuff. So yeah, man, thanks for being here today.
Right on. Cool. So what did you want to talk about? What do you want to go over? I'm going to share a bunch of value with your followers, and
Absolutely. Well, first, I know you've been doing some big things, man. So first I want to really get into a little bit about your story. I mean, I know you're heavy into automation. You're someone that I obviously look up to in the affiliate or just in the advertising space as far as copy. Writing is kind of a couple of things that I've picked up from you that have helped me out. And I'm always just, tuning in as well too and being a student. But I wanted to kind of get into, the Ronnie before copywriting. Like, when did you, when did copywriting or when did this whole, industry kind of, smack you in the face? And like, when did you start to hear about it and understand a little bit more about it,
Okay, well, I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. Actually, I think I'm trying to get your video. I don't know if you have your video enabled, but
no, I have two screens. Oh yeah, I have just my screens.
Yeah, so I started. I mean, I've been building websites since I was like 12 years old. My first website was like one of those GeoCity websites, and so I had a really like a lot of people our age had a really early start at building online stuff, and it wasn't until so I was in the car business and I was making about $100,000 a year, which at the time I was like 18, 19. That's pretty good money for an 18, 19-year-old to be making. And that was before the recession. So, things were really, really good. And then all of a sudden, as we all know, 2008 happened. Things went from pretty good to really, really bad, really, really terrible. And I had no security. I had no income. Actually, I had to end up moving back with my parents, and that was in 2018, 2000. I hope not, right? 2008, 2009,
okay.
And I was just defeated, very depressed. Couldn't get out of bed. I didn't have any friends because when I was in the car business and I was in sales, I was working 70 hours a week. And, quite frankly, people didn't want to hang out with a car salesman. They were on the college thing or, I just didn't have any friends. I mean, I didn't have anything to really even wake up to. I was depressed. I literally remember there was a day that the only person I had to hang out with was my dog. That was like the most. It's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go take a walk. What am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
And so that was a real big low for me. And I knew at that point I was like, okay, well, I have to figure something out. So that's when I got into my extremely long. It seems long. I mean, it was about a decade 8 years until I started making any serious money. No, maybe not 8 years, 5-6 years until I started making some serious money. So it was a big learning curve for me. And This is a long story, so I'm going to make a longer story, as short as I can. I got into copywriting, and I wrote this advertorial. At the time, I was running student debt relief offer, and overnight, I mean, it wasn't overnight, but I woke up in the morning. At the time, I had to wake up at like 5 in the morning, turn on my campaigns, and then I would go back to sleep and wake up at like 10. And I made like over $1,000 when I had woken up at like 10 in the morning, and I was just dabbling. I was lucky to have made like $500-600 a week doing it before, and all of a sudden I just made $1,000, and that was really the aha moment for me when I was like, oh my god, like learning how to write copy is like the most important thing that I can really do. You know, there's only so much media buying and, you know, algorithms and lookalike lists and optimizations you can do. But when it comes down to it, if you really want to make the big dollars really quickly and effortlessly, understanding copy, that was a big aha moment for me. So that's my journey. I started, you know, just struggling, you know, trying to find myself, unhappy with my situation, unhappy with my life. And now, as we're talking, you know, I've become my business has done very, very well.
So, I mean, you know, I think I want to first, for some of the viewers out there, people that are going to be listening to this at some point in the future, just to kind of, just to break it down for them, you know, what Ronnie's kind of talking about when he kind of just said he wrote some copy and he put it up there. I mean, he literally was using, I mean, everybody has a Facebook account out there, I imagine, correct? So most people don't even know that facebook.com/your ads manager, or I think it's business.facebook.com. There's a whole advertising platform. So you could literally tap into whatever, you know, demographic you want to. And literally all Ronnie, I'm guessing he's doing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ronnie, you just literally ran some traffic. And I imagine, you know, maybe maximum about $100, a couple $100 there to make $1,000. And you literally got the right demographic, sent that traffic to a link, which is his web page that has some words on it. But it was the words and the positioning of the words and how you wrote the item that enabled the people to kind of get on their way with if they wanted it or they did not, right? Pretty much?
Yeah, you know, it's I use blog posts. I do a thing called advertorial blog posts, which are advertisements that look like an article.
Okay.
Very, very effective. But yeah, it's a very, very simple strategy. It's just like you said, using Facebook's ad platform. I spend. So I tell people I spend $1 to make $2 typically, or I spend $1 to make $3. But instead of $1, replace that with $10,000. I spend $10,000 to make $30,000 per day.
Yeah,
you know. So
nice. So I mean, everybody could do this out there. I mean, this is happening. This is happening out there.
Well, yeah,
guys.
I tell people, you know, like even 5-7 years ago, like making money online, it was like this epic mythic unicorn. It was like, oh my God, there's some people that are doing this. Now it's like everyone's making money online. Like your aunt probably has an Etsy store making $4,000 a month. You know what I mean? It's not even, it's fucking common. In fact, if you don't have an internet store, if you don't have some type of internet business, I mean, at this point, it's like you're so far behind the game. If you're not already doing it right now. So if you're not doing it, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you setting up internet business? It doesn't make any sense to me. This isn't like, you should know that like internet is the future of making money.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't say it enough. So now, you know, you saw that tapping into the traffic out there, the people that are already on Facebook, you can make some money. Then where did your vision go post that? So, you know, where did your vision go? Was it just to continue to do what you were doing, or did you have a bigger vision from there?
Well, I didn't have a big cash flow at the time. So I was like, well, shit, I just figured out this system that's making a lot of money. And the problem is I didn't have the amount of cash I needed to throw at it in order to make, you know, the type of money I really wanted to make. So I started recruiting my friends and people that I knew and teaching them, and I would make a percentage off of what they made. And long story short, I kind of organically grew this coaching program. I didn't know it was a coaching program at the time. It was just almost like a group buy situation where I was like, hey, I'll show you how to make money online. But it was benefiting me because I was getting more access to cash flow and getting more access to high volume buyers and being able to negotiate better deals. And before you know it, the original people that I showed, obviously they're making like, $1,000 to $3,000 a day profit, from making like $200 a day at their some shitty job. People start to talk, all of a sudden they're rolling around in a Tesla and they quit their job, and they're traveling the world. So people start, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so they would tell their friends, and then their friends would tell their friends. And next thing you know, I've got this basically 7-figure coaching business on my hand. Wasn't something that I planned on, but it just organically grew, and I realized, hey, I actually really like doing this. I like showing people this. I don't live in this world of scarcity where I'm like, oh, I've got my little thing, and I can't show you because I'm afraid that if I teach you, then my little piece of the pie is going to disappear. I don't live in that world, so that's been a whole journey. So that's a business that I do. I have an education business called the School of Hidden Knowledge. I have a lot of free information out there. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Instagram at What a Fucking Life. You can follow me on Facebook, Ronnie Sandlin. And I just put tons of free information. My whole thing is just I give more info away than all these other people. They don't even teach it because most of the guys that are doing education are spending 10 grand a day in running advertising.
Right,
you know what I mean? And so, or if they are spending $10,000 a day running advertising, it's for their own coaching program.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which my coaching program grew organically. I haven't spent any money. I've spent maybe $1,000 dabbling here and there on advertising, but no concerted effort at all. And
all just pure effort, bringing people on, getting them the results, using the right formulas. No, dumbass tricks out there trying to lead people on. You take care of people. I've seen it. I mean, guys, I've seen it. I just spent a couple days. I mean, me and Ronnie had some fat tomahawk steaks. This guy's a beast at cooking. We'll get into that later. But, I mean, straight up, I mean, he is a person that actually cares, and, like, I saw that, he wants to make sure that people succeed. And, he's right. I mean, all of this, I'm not trying to say that it's going to get outsourced, but I think it's rightful to say that media buying is going to be a more automated system thing. It's going to really be about the copy and the emotions that you evoke in your actual marketing. And I definitely say I haven't seen the footage really out there on the internet that much, but when he showed me in his studio with some of his scenes and his marketing and this dope track that I probably have listened to Ronnie like 60 times, dude. Since
thanks. Well, I'll tell you, I have this article here that I thought was fascinating. I like to print out articles that I think are really, really interesting. And this one's by Forbes. It's called The 3 Flavors of Automation and How to Win. And I'm a big advocate of arming yourself because automation is happening. Automation is going to take the economy, is already taking the economy by storm. For example, there's the soft automation. There's automation people don't talk about, which is like, for example, secretaries. How many people have secretaries anymore? When you have Google Calendars, you have email, management, you have all these things that a secretary would do. And, secretaries used to be a massive career in America. Now, who the fuck do you know is a secretary anymore? So automation there's that automation that we kind of are, we just disappears and we just don't even realize it's disappeared. We're like, oh, that job just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, now, what we live in is, I believe we live in a skill exchange economy out there. I might hire somebody maybe the first week, but if their skills are not up to par with what I'm trying to accomplish in my business or anything, you're more than welcome to replace them with somebody else, which is why reviews are so important, which is why, kind of like how you grew your coaching business, word of mouth, it's that, if you're going to inherently give value out there, you're going to get that value back. But we're living in in a skill exchange economy. I mean, skills are a commodity at this point.
Well, yeah, it's also the right skills because you can have the wrong skills. If you're a skill that's about to be automated, then that skill, is it doesn't matter. So there's kind of the Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk method of thinking, which, well, what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna 10x. I'm just gonna 10x, and I'm gonna fuck. Dude, I work like 2 hours a day, dude. I don't do any of that. You know why? Because I'm leveraging these automations and systems. You can't 10x. You're never going to be able to out 10x a robot. artificial intelligence. I mean, that was the analogy of Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan fucking died trying to fucking, stop the railroad automation thing back in the day. That was an analogy. It's like you can't beat a robot. You know what I mean? And so, this idea, this Gary Vaynerchuk bullshit, which that guy's a jack off, by the way. I like Grant Cardone, but, this idea that you got to grind, all this grind, hustle, 10X, this got to stop. It's got to stop because it's unrealistic. It's not really addressing the problem, which is automation doesn't give a fuck if you 10X because it's running it exponentially more than 10X. You can't, you know what I mean? So the point is, you have to have the right skills. And really, it's not even about skills anymore as much as it's about owning the companies, because you're either going to be the owner of one of these automated companies or you're going to be automated out of the economy. So, and then what they're going to do is they're going to introduce a universal basic income, which, by the way, here I got an article on
there was an article that I read the other day, and you may have read it. It's one of Google's computers was able to beat somebody at this ancient game called Go. Yeah, and it's way better than chess. I mean, chess has it was brute force attack in order for the computer to overtake the opponent. But this is there's unlimited amount of possibilities, and the computer still strategically was thinking and was able to beat the best player on earth. So that just goes to show you that there's no job that's really safe. At the end of the day, you have to adapt with it. I think there's going to be an adapting economy. So don't get too scared out there that you can't utilize automation. One thing I use in my business is Facebook chatbots.
Right, that's an interesting automation.
Yeah, I mean, I collect leads for nothing, right? So you go Facebook video ads to the actual chatbot, and then it's a native conversation you're having because people are used to having conversations on the messenger bot. There's 1.3 billion people logged into the motherfucker. So at the end of the day, you have ability to speak to people in an automated way if you map things out, if you're good at copy, right? If you're good at the copy, if you're good at the video.
Well, even copywriting is going to be automated because there's big data. They know exactly which words trigger which demos now. You know what I mean? There's only so much copy. Even copywriting is going to be automated. It's going to have artificial intelligence going to take that. It's really at this point, you want to be the company that owns the AI software.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't the fact of the matter is, conservatively, 30% of the economy is going to disappear in the next decade. I think it's going to be more like half. Mm-hmm. And so you got to look around. You got to say, okay, one out of every person that I know is about to get fucked out of the economy. We're playing a very dangerous game of musical chairs, where every time the music stops, there's less and less chairs. However, these chairs, this isn't a fucking game. This is people's livelihoods. This is their career. This is how they feed their family. This is how they put a roof over their head. So we're about to see a massive redistribution. I wouldn't even say redistribution of wealth. It's not going to happen. What we're about to see is a crash. So, a lot of people listening on this podcast and listening on this live stream, unfortunately, are going to be suffering in the next couple of years. And that's why I feel it's my mission and my duty, and I feel like you feel that way too, Sumit, to let people know and to educate people that there is a window of opportunity. The window of opportunity is closing. It is closing rapidly. So the longer you wait and the longer you hold off on educating yourself, learning how to build an online business, the basically all you're doing is you're walking into the inevitable of being one of those people that's going to get left behind in the economy.
Yeah, I mean, so let's dive into the solution. And I inherently think the solution is it's the re-education of the man and the woman, right? It's the re-education of humankind in understanding this stuff. So education is going to be an industry that's going to be definitely thriving if you're on the right side of that fence.
Right.
Now, if somebody out there is listening to this podcast and some of this stuff might be kind of oh my God, I'm going to be automated. I got to own an automated software company. Some of this stuff might be over a lot of people's heads out there. But what can someone do? Let's just say someone has about 20, 30 years left to live, because you only got to be concerned about the amount of time you have to live on this planet, not beyond that, really, right, for your particular situation. So for the person out there that's saying, my job, it's going to be ending. I see what you're saying, Ronnie. I see what you're saying, Sumit. what can I do to take the right
Okay.
steps?
If
Right
you only have 20, 30 years to live, I mean, I don't, dude, that's a weird, what are we talking, am I talking to 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds here?
perhaps,
I
perhaps
mean, so let me
let's
reframe
let's reframe it.
Let me
But
reframe this.
yeah,
Okay, let's say that you see the writings on the wall. What do you do? I'm saying you should order an artificial intelligence company. I mean, that sounds a little crazy to some of you guys. But what you should do, there's a few different paths. One path is, one second, is going back to what worked in the past. What worked in the past usually will work in the future if you look for far back enough. So what I mean is I own 42 acres of farmland, okay, in Tennessee. So I plan on worst case scenario growing my own vegetables. I have chickens on there now. Just creating a farm, a sustainable farm where I can grow and very minimum have that protection for my family. Okay, so that's minimum for me. You can buy farmland for very cheap. I mean, farmland is extremely cheap. I mean, that was like $300,000 for all that farmland. You don't have to spend. That's 42 fucking acres. I mean, you can get lost on that farm. So you can get something 10 acres for $100,000. You know what I mean? So, or even less. 10 is a good start. So that's one route. The next route is really you need to stop focusing on six-figure incomes. People get all excited about making 100,000, 200,000 or 300,000 a year, and I got to let people know that's fucking chump change. I mean, I don't know where this idea of six-figure. I mean, it's like from the fucking 70s. It's from like literally this carryover from the 70s that hasn't gone away. That somehow six figures is a lot of money. Newsflash: six figures is still on the brink of poverty. Okay, you're one medical catastrophe away from getting your life savings taken out. You could have 1.5 million in the bank, and if your insurance doesn't cover with some cancer treatments, that's going to be $1 million of your dollar. That's going to be almost all your money gone. So the idea that $1 million is a lot of money that needs to be reprogrammed in your head, it's not a lot of money. $1 million is the new middle class. Making $1 million a year is the new middle class. Okay, that's not even the upper class. Okay, so get rid of the idea of six figures. You don't have enough time or the luxury to make six figures anymore. Okay, that window of opportunities disappeared. So you need to focus on seven-figure income streams. And you may be saying, well, fuck, dude, I just would like to make $4,000 or $5,000 a month online. Well, dude, it's just as easy to make $4,000 or $5,000 a month online as it is to make $300,000 or $400,000 a month online. Yep. It's all it is the difference between scaling up your campaigns. Okay, so, I think that fundamentally a lot of people, the people that are going to succeed are going to have those mental breakthroughs in their head and say, okay, well, first off, I need to stop thinking about six figures and focus on seven figures. Second, I need to start thinking about ways I can protect my family, support my family, feed my family, nourish my family when everyone else is suffering. I would get the fuck out of the big cities. I moved to Nevada, which isn't, it's still a city. But I would not want to be in California. I'm minimizing my taxes, so I'm trying to save cash, stack cash. I'm not driving a Ferrari. I'm in a very humble 2-bedroom apartment, in Las Vegas. So right now is the time to stack, generate multiple streams of income. I'm ready for the crash. So for me, on my end, unfortunately, I feel for the people that are suffer. But I'm ready for it because I'm ready to buy apartment complexes. I'm going to buy more farmland. I'm going to buy more companies. I'm going to invest more in my company. I'm going to buy more advertising because while other companies are restricting their advertising, I'm going to be growing my advertising spend. So, you can be on, you have to draw a line in the sand. Which side of the line do you want to be on? Do you want to be a peasant or do you want to be do you want to be a king in this new digital fourth industrial revolution? I want to be a king. I do not want to be a peasant, and I don't want my family to be peasants. So, I don't, this may rub you the wrong way, but, the facts are the facts. The facts are the facts.
So, so if people are, interested, if they're saying, hey, listen, I'm ready to take an action. I'm ready to make a move. Whatever the situation is, I'm going to do what I got to do. I want to dedicate whatever hours I can dedicate. So is it a flexible thing for them to learn flexibly on a daily basis and really kind of dive into perhaps your program or something that you could recommend to them?
I would start, first off, there's a lot of great free stuff out there.
Right.
You know, before you spend the money, everyone has an expertise. Okay, so for example, in my business, I'm a good copywriter, and I'm good at connections and kind of bringing people together, and I have a very good network. But I'm not good at organization. I'm not good at scheduling. I'm not good at management. I'm not good at media buying. So there's a lot of things I'm not good at. Okay, I know how to do all these things, so you should be well versed. You should first have a general understanding of everything. Okay, so you should understand how every piece of the pie, or the puzzle works, rather. So you should understand a little bit about media buying, and a little bit about copywriting, a little bit about web design, and a little bit about typography, and a little bit about all these elements first. And I talk about this in all of my free stuff, so you can get a general idea in all my free education I give out. And then you want to find what you're good at, what you excel at. You may say, you know, I'm not a good copywriter, I'm not a good media buyer, but I'm really good at spreadsheets. I'm really good at keeping people on task. I'm really good at organizing. I'm really good at keeping groups cohesive and together and scheduling and people. Like, I'm a good manager, basically.
Yeah, right.
And that would be like Steve, my business partner, that every time I get on a live stream, he fucking darts out the room. You know what I mean? So he's like, in that regard, he's the exact opposite of me. Like, where I have this strength in the communication, he has the strength in the spreadsheets and the systems and making sure the shit gets done. So my recommendation is first understand how the puzzle works, and then dive down into what your expertise is, hyper specialize, and fill in the gaps by either hiring people around you. And nowadays you can hire people in like Odesk and like Yugoslavia. Okay, so the hiring is not like the old days where you had to have applicants and they would come in their worst Sunday suits and give you canned responses. Those days are over. Okay,
I find websites so funny, man. I mean, people go to those websites, they waste their fucking time.
Like Monster.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's a fucking failed idea. It's a failed idea. That idea that there's some like job waiting for you. There's no job waiting for you. You either have to create your own income source, or you have to be of such value to an organization. But these organizations now, they just want you as a slave. They don't want you as an actual value giver. You're not a value giver. By the way, you want to talk about slavery? Going back to that universal basic income. So universal basic income, they're going to have to add, just to give everyone in America an extra, only $1,000 a month. So what can you do with $1,000 a month? I had a sushi bill the other night that was $1,000. Okay, you can't do shit with $1,000. Okay, so it's only for $1,000 a month in America. They would have to tax the top 10% of earners an additional 21 to 35% in order to fund that. And you may be thinking, well, that tax the rich 10%. Well, guess what, dummy? The rich is 100,000. That's 10%. Is people that make over $100,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
That's it. That's the top 10% of America. And so what you're going to do is you're going to have this situation where people like me that have the means and have the ability to get the fuck out of here, I'm not going to be paying those fucking taxes. I'm going to Puerto Rico. I'm going to put my money in offshore trusts. I'm going to put my money in apartment complexes, so I'm not getting taxed on corporate gains. That's not something that, obviously, the people that don't have money aren't doing that. They don't have money to be doing stuff like that.
That's not something that they actually even ever learn,
They never learn. And so it's a middle class, this supposed middle class, which is not middle class. It's actually called the slave class.
Yeah.
If you're making 100 to 300, I would say anywhere between about 80 to 300,000 a year, you're pretty much in the slave class category. Where you think, the problem with this is insidious, because you think that you're free, you think that you have a little bit of money, you think that you're successful, but you're just a high paid slave. Okay, you're better off than a low paid slave, but you're the one that gets taxed the most at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, when you're getting taxed 35% plus an extra 30% from if you live in California plus the government, you're getting taxed 50 or 60% of your income. As that slave class, you're literally giving up 50% of your life, 60% of your life, your most precious resource, away. That's slavery. To me, that's slavery. Just so somebody can get a measly $1,000 a month. It's fucking ludicrous. But that's what we're going to
They're
have to
going to
go.
pass this? They're going to pass this, you're saying?
Of course they're going to pass it. What are they going to do? They have riots on the street when 30% of the economy, 40% of the economy can't find work?
And this is coming soon, guys. I mean, when do you think the economy is going to tank? I mean, I see it happening before the end of the year. There's going to be some big cracks or something like that in December. Major cracks are coming.
Yeah, well, here it's already happening. So the first sign of economic uncertainty is basically you start to see a heightened class and race warfare. So heightened class and race tensions, because. And obviously, this is exactly what's happening right now in America. Okay, so that's the first major sign you should look for. Okay, and the reason why is everyone's struggling. So everyone's pointing their finger at each other. You've got the black guys pointing at the white guys, saying the white guys have too much privilege. You have the white people pointing at the Hispanics, saying the Hispanics are fucking taking the jobs. You have the Hispanics, pointing at the other direction, saying, so everyone is fucking blaming each other. But at the end of the day, it has the fact to do that there's just no more jobs left.
Right. I mean, and China's coming up from right behind and about to swoop it all up.
Well, no, I mean, China's about to get fucked too. When you think about it, I think China is going to get hit by automation the worst, because what's going to happen is, and it's already happening, a lot of these companies are like, well, dude, I can just have a robot do all of this. Why am I going to have a factory in China when I can bring that factory back to Switzerland or back to America and Ohio? And I don't have to hire a bunch of people, so I'm saving the money, and now I don't have to fight a fucking butt-fuck China every quarter to go check on this factory.
Well, you know what?
I'm still saving money bringing it back to America. So China's about to get fucked, too. I wouldn't be thinking there's
China
some,
will get fucked, but I'll say this, because I lived in China for 5 years, and just knowing how their society works and knowing kind of where it is right now, my prediction of what's going to happen is automation is going to hit China. All the people that are working in factories, what they're trying to do right now is to bring back the Mao Zedong era's socialism policies in mix with the international commerce policies, because, they're really a prosperous country right now. They can do that. And so they have this UN-backed gold, so they're going to be part of the currency system, and they're going to create universal, income over there. But I'll tell you why that's going to work, because the people over there that, if they gave the people that are at the bottom half, right, and I'm talking like there is the type of gap in income that's in China is about to happen pretty much globally, definitely in the United States, as you were talking about, right? There's going to be a humongous income gap, right? If you're prepared or you're not prepared, if you're in automation already or you're not. But what's going to happen in China is that the rich are just going to get richer, but at least the people will be taken care of, because they believe in no God. They just believe in production and family, right? So I think once that happens in China, yes, they will get hit, but they'll smoothen it out because their people have always marched to one tune anyway, right? We here are going to get massively fucked because we're not marching to one tune. We can't do with $1,000 a month, right? We want our materialistic things. We want to buy our Xboxes, our iPhones, all of this crap that you don't even need. I'm telling you, I've lived there for 5 years. Those people don't buy all that crap. The people that are buying stuff have the money, or they're just, rich daddy gave it to them. But the people that are rich are like, my daughter's driving a pink Ferrari and she's 18-year-old kind of rich. You see what I'm trying to say? It's a whole different. So they're just going to automate their fucking companies and they'll be fine. But the other people will be taken care of, and they'll do well with the means that they can have, because things are cheap there. Food, medicine, healthcare, it is cheap as hell. If you've never been there, check it out. Their economy is totally different. Our economy, to get a Band-Aid at a doctor, it's like probably $500 bill. Yeah. That's ridiculous. But that's what we live in, and that's what we accept. That's what we believe in here. So the long as we believe that, we are going to fuck our own selves over. We're like the snake eating its tail.
Oh, yeah. I think things will be fine. People are like, well, you have such a negative view of the future. Just like with any crash, there's always a rebirth. There's always a restructure. There's always a kind of a phoenix rising from the ashes situation. And I believe that, I have no doubt that, in fact, after this crash, it's going to be one of the best times to be. It already is, but it's going to be an amazing time, because we're going to have, it's going to be like post-capitalism, post, we're going to live in a much different economy. I mean, it's not going to be an economy based off of money anymore. And so we're not there yet. So what you don't want to be in a situation is during the thick of the storm, during when the hurricane's hitting, you don't want to be in a situation where you're leaving your family exposed. You want to be safely chilling in a bunker, hanging out, you know, sipping on pina coladas and, you know, watching fucking Ghostbusters. You know what I mean?
Right. So tell me, Ronnie. So, you know, with the School of Hidden Knowledge, you know, when people kind of get into it, you know, I've heard a lot of great success stories. You know, obviously you're my good friend, so I know what's going on in there. But, you know, what can people expect if they follow some more of your information, if they want to get involved, you know, if they want to protect themselves? Because it seems like, I mean, I've been watching you. You always talk about high-level stuff, not just, you know, media buying or advertising or copywriting, but, you know, just some really deep stuff, man, that people should listen to and tune into versus some of the bullshit out there. So,
yeah, you know, I just talk about, you know, mind hacking and not like cheesy like visualization like journey board bullshit, like really proven scientific mind hacking stuff on the neuroplasticity of the brain. And I like stuff like that. I really keep on the cutting edge of psychology and neuroscience and how the brain works. I mean, that's basically I'm weirdly engrossed by it.
Nice.
I mean, it's a passion of mine. So I always talk about stuff like that. I'm really big into just making money. I love making money, so a lot of it's just making fuckloads of money, how to do it effortlessly. I'm the antithesis of the Gary Vee. Like, I'm not the 10x work your ass off until your fucking thumbnails are bloody. Like, I'm the dude that wants to smoke a bowl, make a couple $1 million a year, and, you know, hang out with good friends.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's a big goal for 2018? Well, you know, what can people expect that you're trying to do in 2018?
Well, we're taking our company public, so we're working on that. That's going to be interesting, and just keep growth. I mean, we're just growing, and just helping more people. I'd like to help make 50 millionaires. I think is a pretty decent goal. If I could do even 30 to 40 millionaires that I could help create next year, that would be really good. But just continue being happy. I'm a happy guy. My girlfriend likes to say I'm fat and happy. So I just want my friends to be fat and happy. Maybe not fat. Maybe I could lose a few pounds, but just happy. Well-fed, happy. And I think that's the goal. And so when this crash hits, you know, I have enough in storage to last me through the famine.
Most definitely, bro. Most definitely. Well, listen, so we're gonna put all the links down there for the viewers on the podcast. If you're tuning into iTunes or whatever you're tuning into, SoundCloud, you'll look at the show notes. You'll find Ronnie. We'll send a link to his Facebook page. He's always doing a live video feed with some really awesome music in the beginning. You know, and he really talks about some real stuff. So check him out there. He's doing some awesome stuff in the School of Hidden Knowledge. And we hope to get Ronnie back on the show in 2018 again. You know, we hope to come back to Vegas or Puerto Rico, wherever you're at, man. We'll come visit you, and you know, we'll definitely do something.
Right on. Thanks for having me on your show, Sumit. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you guys for your time.
Brother. Take it easy. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care. Later.